Hey, I'm Mike, and a simulation is the representation of the characteristics or behavior of one system through another. The problem with figuring out if you're in a simulation is that any evidence that you find to prove or disprove you're in a simulation could all be implemented by the programmer to obfuscate the fact that you're in a simulation. But what is the real world? What if I told you it was all just a simulation? Before we get too deep into the idea, let's take a step back. Great examples of simulation are video games. Different games feature different levels of simulation. Some opt for a simple artificial intelligence attributed to arbitrary elements, and others aim to simulate that of the real world. Video game simulations started out simple, really simple. Over time, they've become more complex and more representative of the things they're simulating. No Man's Sky is big, 18 quintillion planets big. In our universe, each galaxy has on average 100 billion stars, each with an average of one planet. That means that No Man's Sky has the equivalent of 18,000 galaxies. Even if only 1% of planets in the game had life, that would still be 2 million times more unique life than that found on Earth. Quantity doesn't always mean quality. As you know, video games aren't perfect simulations. They're only approximations. The water in this ocean interacts with light, flows naturally, and looks like water from our world. The game doesn't need to simulate every atom and law that binds the universe to give us a pretty good idea of how water will react. But it does give the game barriers that wouldn't exist in a perfect simulation. Perfect simulations take up information, but how much information? The Bekenstein bound is the maximum amount of information required to perfectly describe a given physical system at the quantum level. To perfectly simulate the average human brain at this level, it would require 29 octillion terabytes. But that's simulating every cell, every atom, and every quantum state for every particle. But what this also means is that the universe has a maximum information capacity, and it just so happens to be about 10 to the 120 bits, and expanding with the expansion of the universe. The universe has a smallest possible length, called the Planck length. This indicates that space can be looked at as a three-dimensional lattice or resolution. This theory is called the Huygens theory. If the universe is pixelated, then this could be strong physical evidence that the universe is a finite system, which has a programmed limit. There have been experiments that strongly disprove this theory, pointing to a space-time that is smooth and not quantized, but here's where things get tricky. What if this simulation simply produced a smooth universe? What if every piece of evidence that you're not in a simulation was just part of the simulation? The physical evidence for a simulated universe are hard to come by, but we have never developed a simulation that has independently developed its own simulations within. So how can so many smart people be so convinced that this unproven, untested, unsubstantiated theory can be true? Statistics. Imagine a world where artificial intelligence is common. Not just common, really common. So common that there are thousands or even millions of AI for every human. Alternatively, think of a super civilization that conducts hundreds of super simulations every day, each with billions of AI. Statistically, there is a higher probability that you're an AI within one of these simulations than not. In an onion shelling fashion of simulations inside of simulations, there will be far more simulated beings than non-simulated ones. The big question is, can AI be alive and aware? Does 343 Guilty Spark understand that he is trapped inside an alien installation within a simulation called Halo? Is he aware that there are millions of versions of himself out there stored on game disks? Is he frozen in time within your old hard drive waiting to be awoken when the power is reconnected? Even more interesting, if all of this is true, he wouldn't even know that the things he could say were limited by the programmer and the code. What if the same is true of our universe, and we're simply unable to comprehend our own boundaries? Would it make a difference to know that every physical law and biology that hold the universe together was all part of a simulation? I don't really think so. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hey guys, just a reminder that if you did enjoy this video, you should consider subscribing, as well as setting notifications to on if you're on mobile or on desktop.